Welcome.
Hello.
I'm Janine Pettit, host of the Girl Camper podcast, and I'm at the mothership here, Bankston Motorhomes in Huntsville, Alabama, one of their 5 locations. But I came here because this is where Mike the parts guy lives. So you know him from his very famous YouTube videos, but I have a couple questions for Mike, and we are going to be talking about water hoses today because so many people have questions about this. I get a lot of questions on the podcast about this, so I'm putting it to the expert. Okay, first of all, Mike, I always thought that RV drinking water hoses, where we bring our fresh water into the trailer, were supposed to be white. So everything is blue now. Tell me about this hose.
Okay, so the old misconception was that a white drinking water hose was RV friendly, basically. A white RV water hose has brass fittings on it. Brass corrodes. These have stainless steel fittings on them so they don't corrode and put off nasty chemicals for you. These also have springs attached to each end of them that basically make it to where when you're hooked up to your city water, it doesn't kink on you and break. They also have a lining on the inside that deters that nasty just drink out of a water hose taste.
Okay, so if we had a green water hose from home, which I used for years, I'll be honest to say, I just bought a hose and you know, they're not threaded correctly, so my husband fixed it so I could hook it up. And I didn't know that was bad, but now I know that leaches a lot of chemicals.
Lots and lots of chemicals into your system.
And
yes.
yeah, okay, so we don't want the green garden hose, and we don't want the white ones because they have the copper fittings.
The brass fittings,
The
correct.
brass fittings, and they corrode and give off chemicals and leads and metals into your water.
Correct.
So this is the drinking hose of choice, the blue one with the stainless steel fitting.
Correct.
Okay, now I have to ask you more about. I have a little pile.
That's okay.
Okay.
Let's look at it.
So, what is this for? It says flexible hose protector. So, is that in case you didn't buy one of these?
Okay, so the flexible hose protector, it's not necessarily if you have one of those, it's more or less when you're adding attachments to your camper, like a water pressure regulator or a water filter or anything heavy. This takes the weight of that heavy object that you're adding. So you would screw one end into the camper, the heavy object into the other end to relieve some strain.
Okay, so this actually gets attached to the camper, and then, you said it, water pressure regulator.
Correct.
All right, I'm going to fess up here because we're honest at the Girl Camper podcast. I've only been using one of these for 2 years because when I get to the campground, most of them have a spin dial, okay? And so I just turn it on low. So I'm regulating the pressure myself. Of course, I have no idea what I'm regulating it to, but why can't we do that?
Okay, so the reason that we can't do that is because we don't know the exact pressure that the campground is putting out. They may say they're putting out 40 psi, but in reality, they're putting out 80 psi. And that is not good for our camper. So by just turning the dial slightly, we're stopping some of the flow, but we're not stopping all of the flow. We have no way of knowing exactly what's coming through.
Okay.
With the water pressure regulator, we can know exactly what's coming through. This one right here has a dial on it to allow you
to see what's coming in.
Exactly what's coming in. This one also comes preset from the factory at 45 psi, which is a safe psi for your camper. Take an example, these campers right here.
Right. The Max and the Mini from Liberty Outdoors.
They have a max PSI of 50, so 45 falls directly under that.
Okay, so it's like they knew.
They knew exactly what they were doing.
Someone told them, gave them the heads up. So if you're not one for playing with it or adjusting it, it comes all set. But this does have an adjustable one, too, if you wanted to increase or even decrease it.
Correct. If you had a fifth wheel, for instance, that can handle a little more pressure, you can bump it up a little bit to get it more like a at-home feeling.
Okay. All right, so this is not just a gadget they're trying to sell you, because what could happen if the water came in really fast and hard? What could that do to your trailer?
Okay, so if you had a lot of water pressure coming in, you could blow the check valve on your city water inlet, and whenever you turn your water pump on to try to pump that water through your system, it's going to pump it directly back out that city water, the check valve right there, because it's not going to be able to pressurize. The check valve is designed to let water in but not out.
Okay.
Too much pressure gets rid of that.
Okay, so this is not just another gadget. This is something that could really prevent you from doing serious damage to your trailer and having a costly repair.
Correct.
Okay, moving on to my little pile. Okay, this is a hose elbow.
The hose elbow is kind of like the flex hose there. It does the same thing, but it gives you a 90-degree angle on it. So you don't have to deal with the hose a little bit. It also makes it a lot easier if your city water connection is in a tight spot.
Which mine is.
It makes it a lot easier. You just screw this right on, and then you have a little more room to play with.
You're not messing with it, yeah.
Exactly. It's
I'm taking this home with me because that was an issue for me the whole 3 weeks I've been on the road, and it has a little door and it all closes and I can't get it to. So I don't care about the door. It's all plastic and sealed, but getting that thing on and off at the campground was not easy. And I had this on my old trailer and I really liked it.
Well, here you go.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Now, but it is copper.
It is.
Do they make this in stainless steel?
It's brass. I'm
Okay.
not 100% sure if they
Oh, that's
make
better.
it.
Okay.
It's a little better than copper, but it still does corrode.
Okay.
So that's just
10 years from now?
Yeah, that's just something
Yeah.
that we have to keep in mind, and
Okay, so this
manage
is like
accordingly.
$5.99, so we'll eat that every 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, last thing is this water filter, the RV Marine water filter. Tell us all about this.
Okay, the RV Marine water filter. Just like everybody else, you can buy a case of water for less than $3 and drink it, and you have filtered water. But you still have to cook, you still have to brush your teeth, and you still have to consider hygiene.
And maybe you don't want to throw plastic water bottles away in the world. 'Cause
Exactly.
that's really not nice.
And yes, let's say you don't
Yeah.
want to throw away a bunch of bottles. This will filter the water coming into your camper. So that way you have clean filtered water and you can feel safe drinking the actual water.
Okay, so this is just like at home. If you don't have the best tasting city water, you can put this on there. All the campgrounds are different. You don't know. Somebody might have a nice deep well and somebody might not. So this is a way of you filtering so you can use that water to cook and brush your teeth and all of that. Now, is there something in here that needs to be changed every couple of months?
No, so this is a sealed cartridge.
Okay.
It's essentially good for 6 months. So once 6 months are up and you've completely used it,
Once a season.
once a season, you
Okay.
just grab a new one.
And what's cool here is this one actually comes with one of those attachments in it.
It comes with the flex hose
Yeah, so you don't have to buy the flex hose separate. Okay, Mike, what else do you think people might be missing when it comes to water and bringing water into your trailer and making sure it's pressurized and correct? Did we miss anything?
The only thing that I can think of that we missed for water purposes, not necessarily pressurizing, but would be a heated water hose.
Oh, okay. So those of us who like to camp deep into the fall,
Yes.
my last camp out last year was 19 degrees and the hoses were popping.
Oh yes, they will every time.
Okay.
For some reason, water and cold just don't like each other.
Okay, so this is essentially the same as that, but it's wrapped or?
Yes, the heated water hose that we and many people offer is the same hose that has the stainless steel ends on it, the spring fittings, all that. It's still on there. They just come with a sleeve that wraps around the hose. You can zip it on and off, and it heats the water hose to allow the water coming through to stay heated and keep your hose from breaking, and to ensure that you have heated water coming into your camper to keep your pipes and fittings and everything warm as well.
Right, okay. So that's a great tool for people who want to extend the camping season.
Yes, it is.
And I think it's something that you should just have on hand, like a backup in your storage bin, because you just don't know. I mean, we were camping in Yellowstone last year in July, and it dropped down to 29 at night.
Mhm.
So you should just have one of those.
You never know, and like I said, you don't have to plug it in. You don't have to have the insulation around it. You can use it as a backup, as a standard hose if your regular hose breaks, or if it's gonna suddenly drop, you have it. You don't have to worry about
Okay.
how my pipe's gonna freeze.
Right. So just a few more items to add to your RV shopping list.
Just a few more.
Just a few more. We want to be safe and happy out
That's
on the
correct,
road.
yeah.
Mike, thanks so much.
No problem.
It's
Thank
great
you.
chatting with you, and I'll see you on YouTube.
Thank you.
Happy trails.